Thank you, Steve, for the kind introduction. First of all, I would like to extend my appreciation to our sponsors, Prince Urbanza, as well as the webinar organizer, Transport Event, for inviting me as a panelist. Well, we are still weathering through the COVID-19 pandemic, but I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy. Well, it is indeed a privilege for me and my company to be able to share our views on the current challenges and opportunities in ports and terminals in BIMP-EAGA, in particularly in the areas that affecting Sabah ports. So as we have very limited time, I'll do my best to just highlight the important things in my presentation and to start off with the corporate introduction on my company, a little bit of the BIMP-EAGA, in particular the strategic location that Sabah possesses within this region, and to highlight some of the challenges, opportunities, and as well as initiative from Sabah Port's perspective. If you're not familiar where Sabah is, we are located on the rapidly developing eastern side of Malaysia. We are the second largest state in Malaysia with a population of approximately 4 million people. And Sabah makes up part of the Bornean Island together with Sarawak, which is another Malaysian state, the Kalimantan, Indonesia, and also Brunei Darussalam. And as for the company, under a privatization agreement that was signed in 2004, Sabah Port Sdn Bhd or SPSB was accorded the right to manage the operations of the state ports from Sabah Ports Authority for a 30-year concession period. SPSB is wholly owned by Surya Capital Holdings Berhad, a GLC under the state of Sabah, and it is a public listed company featured on Malaysia's main stock exchange. Under SPSB, we have two subsidiaries who support us in providing added value services. We have SP Marine Services Sdn Bhd, which provide bunkering, logistics, and husbandry services, while SP Satria Sdn Bhd provides the equipment supply and maintenance. Our other sister companies are in the property development related to marinas and the seafront development and renewable energy sectors. As the port operator, we operate and manage 8 ports across Sabah. We have quite a long coastline, about 1,600 kilometers, and sea transportation is very much a crucial mode of transport to move and distribute goods around Sabah. Our ports are connected to 3 main oceans, which are the Celebes Sea, the Sulu Sea, and South China Sea. In the west coast of Sabah, we manage and operate 3 major ports, namely Sepangar Bay Container Port, Sepangar Bay Oil Terminal, and Kota Kinabalu Port for general cargo. We also manage the Kudat Port at the northern side of Sabah, where barter trade activities are being carried out. In terms of commodity, our east coast ports such as Sandakan Port, Lahadatu Port, Kunak Port, and Tawau Port handle large exports of palm oil due to the vast plantation area concentrated on the east coast side. And we handle approximately 16.2 million tons of cargo throughput per annum, and inclusive of 379,000 TEUs. That is for the previous 2019 statistic. Due to the strategic locations, as you see here, all our ports are very much connected to the BIMP-EAGA. We have enjoyed a long history of trade, especially between our east coast ports with southern Philippines, as well as Tarakan and Kalimantan, Indonesia. Our east coast ports also have a good overland connectivity, thus enabling goods from surrounding areas to be transferred via land. A little bit about the BIMP-EAGA. BIMP-EAGA was launched in 1994 as a cooperation initiative by Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines to bring more economic development to specific focus areas within each region through economic complementation. BIMP-EAGA is participated by Sabah, Sarawak and Labuan from Malaysia, Brunei Darussalam and the Philippine provinces of Palawan and Mindanao, and 10 Indonesian provinces in Kalimantan, Sulawesi, Maluku and northern side of Papua. So in this case, Sabah is very much into the BIMP-EAGA initiatives and effort. So collectively, to say that BIMP-EAGA covers a land area of 1.6 million square kilometers and has a combined population of approximately 70 million people. So combined, the BIMP-EAGA region is one of the most resource-rich regions, especially in agro industry and fisheries. The economic development of BIMP-EAGA areas are highly dependent on the creations of intra-regional transport, which includes enhancing connectivity and linkages. So this is more obvious when we had the total lockdown due to the pandemic, where borders are closed and distribution by land transportation are restricted. So we see that there's so much opportunity that needs sea linkages in between the BIMP-EAGA regions. When we view as a single market, there are vast untapped opportunities that can truly bring an economic impact to all stakeholders. However, we see that an attractive and feasible sea network should be in place to bring down logistic costs and create greater efficiency and connectivity. Geographically, Sabah is within the heart of BIMP-EAGA, thus provide shippers an alternate gateway into BIMP-EAGA. We are also closer to the international trade lane and secondary shipping routes, thus creating vast potential for Sabah to be a centralized platform for cargo en route to a larger BIMP-EAGA and the Far East countries, Europe and the Australasia. So in this case, we see an opportunity for Sepanggar Bay Container Port, one of our major port, to play a role as the foundation towards a systematic hub and spoke approach to the BIMP-EAGA market. With Sepanggar Bay's strategic location and the abundance of natural resources in the region, it has high potential to become the focal point of BIMP-EAGA region shipping cluster. By designating SBCP as the hub for containerized cargo and rationalizing the container traffic at the specific load center, a more systematic and efficient approach is laid out to attract man liners operators and in turn to reduce the logistic costs. A developed shipping network will create more conducive environment to enhance the trade, to improve market access and inclination for investment within the region. So in terms of cargo base, Sabah has access to its immediate hinterland, which has inherent natural resources in agriculture, aquaculture and also timber sectors. Due to Sabah's strategic location, Sabah's cargo base can be expanded by tapping into secondary hinterlands as well as the larger BIMP-EAGA area. The vast hinterlands that Sabah has access to gives rise to a strong cargo base such as raw material supplies and a network of market for manufactured and imported goods. However, in order for us to capitalize on the Sepanggar Bay Container Port development and the game-changing potential for the BIMP-EAGA, there are challenges that we have to face as a terminal operator. So firstly, there is a need to have an attractive framework that will benefit all stakeholders and to enhance the economic development of the BIMP-EAGA, the stakeholders need to work together to provide an effective sea route for BIMP-EAGA ports. By having this systematic approach, we are able to discuss the shipping lines to generate more schedules and linkages between BIMP-EAGA ports and a hub port. For example, ports in Eastern BIMP-EAGA have been relying on transshipment via the national gateway to access the international market, despite the close proximity of other BIMP-EAGA ports. So this has caused high logistic costs and unnecessary diversion between the port of origin and the final destination. And there is also need to consolidate common cargoes meant for export among BIMP-EAGA countries to take advantage of the economy of scale and to reduce shipping costs while improving market access for our traders. So this can work if we view this collaboration as complementing and not competing and playing to BIMP-EAGA resource-rich strength. There is also a need to align a national regulation with the regional commitments through an effective regulatory and structural reform, not just at the BIMP-EAGA level, but also the Asian level. And this includes basically to streamline areas of the customs, the immigrations, quarantine, and of course, the security. And we need to develop a common standard framework to harmonize the CIQS regulation. We are facilitating efficient trade and cross-border movement of people and goods, and strengthening the security of trade and transport activities, and have a common ground on regulations and procedures between member states. So this can only be achieved if we are actually, have a consensus in what directions that we need to go and what is actually the objective to achieve this. Hence, leveraging on our strategic location, especially towards connectivity to the intra-Asia trade, Sabah Ports has developed a comprehensive master plan for the next 30 years, which acts as a blueprint for the state ports and logistic planning and development. We have several initiatives that we have identified as a major thrust to revitalize industries activities in Sabah and to expand sea connectivity and enhance the state's economic competitiveness. So these include SPSB aim to designate our Sepangar Bay Container Port as a regional hub for containerized cargo. So funded by the Malaysian government, SBCP will undergo a major expansion program to boost its efficiency and capacity from 500,000 TEU to 1.25 million TEUs. So with this improved capacity, we are able to cater for the 5th generations of MLO to call at our port in Sepangar Bay. So we anticipate that the project will commence on the first quarter of 2021 and expected to complete in 2025. Besides that, SP is also working closely with the BIMP-EAGA Business Council in Sabah to further push the SBCP agenda under the Council's Sea Linkages cluster, and using this platform for our respective governments to look into a joint effort framework to create greater economic value for the region. So in the long-term development plan, we have the Sepangar Bay Integrated Port that will be created to link Sepangar Bay Container Port to our other port development, that is Sepangar Bay Conventional Cargo Terminal and also the Sepangar Bay Oil Terminal. And with this new conventional terminal and upgraded infrastructure, we aim to make Sepangar Bay as the hub for the container, ro-ro, and oil and gas. Well, a lot of factors need to be considered in building up the hub and spoke network, especially in covering a large geographical area such as the BIMP-EAGA. We need the main liners and we need an effective feedering services to go along all to call all the other smaller ports in the region. So SPSP in fact have actually attractive elements as a transship hub in terms of its location and proximity to BIMP-EAGA ports. So we hope that this can be of the consideration to all other BIMP-EAGA members. And of course, it is estimated that there were over 1.8 million TEUs of foreign container cargo handled in BIMP-EAGA, and we believe the intra-Asia container cargo represents a significant amount of total foreign cargo. And as the economies of BIMP-EAGA grow, there will be a heightened need for shipping services to accommodate these intra-Asia linkages. These underdeveloped areas within BIMP-EAGA should take advantage of the facilities and cost reduction that SBCP offers as a regional redistribution and transshipment center. The hub concept or a consolidation center is needed for more strategic approach to create more shipping traffic to our region. So in conclusion, we need consensus. We as ports in BIMP-EAGA have to work together in determining the best approach that can provide reduced logistic costs, greater market access, and enhance the sea linkages. So to identify the most effective regional distribution and transshipment hub for mutual benefits for all stakeholders. So we believe with concentrated effort in terms of connectivity that we are able to synergize better with other players in the supply chain. Last but not least, and most crucial part is actually the trade facilitation from the government side to harmonize the regulatory requirements and facilitate the trade to gain more market access. So I hope that we can have a common approach on how we can use our strength to better develop the trade within BIMP-EAGA, complemented with an efficient distribution system. So that's all from me. Thank you, Steve.